Hello and welcome back to lesson number 6. We are going to be reviewing the scale, but we will also be introducing you to the very first of the embellishments of the Great Highland Bagpipe, which is the G grace note, or the high G grace note. So let's go ahead and review the scale real quickly. Play this together, starting at low G this time. Ready? And okay, so as a review, we played the whole scale. Now, you should have by now, this should be about week 4. So you should have the scale down really well, and you should be ready to start learning your embellishments. So you're probably wondering at this point, how can you play music on a Great Highland Bagpipe if all you have is notes and you can't stop blowing? Once you start blowing on the chanter, you don't stop, you don't have rests, you don't tongue the chanter to make small rests. How do we do it? The way we do it in the Great Highland Bagpipe is with embellishments. So the very first embellishment is the high G grace note. So the high G grace note is exactly that. It is a very short G note that is played either between two notes. In this example, it is the low A note. Sorry about the cat. Or it is used more commonly to play between two notes, in this instance, between A and B. So, to review, an embellishment of any kind, and you'll be learning a bunch of different types. The first one being a G grace note, which is a very short semiquaver, 30-second note. Very quick little chirp, and it can be used, and it's used to divide two notes or to act as like a bridge between two notes. Okay, so as I was saying, the first embellishment is the high G grace note. How is that played? On the board it showed that we played low A separated by a G grace note. So two low A's separated by a G grace note. So this is how it would sound. So we're separating two low A's with a G grace note. So as you can see, I'm raising my G finger very quickly and putting it back down again. I'm not playing a proper G where I raise all three fingers. In the case of embellishments, we only raise the single finger that's associated with the embellishment. So this being a G grace note, we just raise the G grace note finger, and then we put it back down again. What we want to avoid is we want to avoid raising the finger too high, like this, which will make the G grace note too long, or we want to avoid raising it too low, making it too short. The perfect size of a G grace note is audible, and that's it. It needs to be fully audible. So when you play the G grace note, you need to hear that it's there, nice and clean, and that's it. No longer. It should not be its own note. It's only just a chirp sound, or a 30-second note length. So I'll play low A again, and I'll show you how it should sound. It's there, but it's very short. Now I'm going to show you how we play a G grace note between two notes to act as a bridge. So we're going to play low A, and as it was on the board, we went to B. So I'm going to play it in between the two notes. So the way we play a grace note between two notes is kind of like a crossing note, or with the bridge, the crossing, or the crossover. We want to raise our G grace note finger as we're going to the B, to the B in this case, or to the note that we're going to, and we want to put our finger back down after we've gotten to the note. So I'll play this in slow motion. B, the A to B with a G grace note. So up to speed, it sounds like this. So again, to review, the G grace note between two notes, such as low A, making two distinct low A notes, or as a bridge between two notes, such as A to B. So I showed you how to play the G grace note between A and from A to B, but we play the G grace note on every note up to G. So high G. So let me show you how to play the G grace note scale from low G. So we start on low G. So we're actually only going to F with this, and that's for standard high G grace notes. We can only really go up to F. So I'll show you how to do a G grace note up to G in another lesson, because it's kind of it's its own thing. But again, I'll play that scale all the way up to F and then back down again, and you can play along. Okay, there's some specific hand movements that are required for playing the G grace note on the high hand, which can be a little bit tricky if you don't know how to do it. So let me show you how that's done. So we've played the G grace note scale all the way up to E. That's kind of self-explanatory. When you go to F, you lift these two fingers up, and you close back to F. So you're at E, you lift your two fingers off to play a G, and then you close your finger, put your first finger down to play an F. And when you go back down to play a G grace note on E, you put your middle finger down, raise your G finger off, and then put your G finger back down again. So it's almost like an anchor. You're anchoring the chanter and your hand by putting that finger down and then closing to E. So F, up to speed. So, in conclusion, I would like for you guys to practice your G grace note scale. And you could also incorporate that into the skip note scale that I taught you earlier. But for now, definitely focus on the G grace note scale. And then if you feel like you're doing really well, you can incorporate it into the skip note scale. Again, for review, here's the G grace note scale. Sorry about that. So, practice those things, and I will see you in the next lesson.